The sky above planet Virex 9 was always orange. Dust never settled. Broken ships and machines covered the land like old bones. Jace was just a scrapper. He searched junkyards for parts, sold what he could, and kept what others threw away. He liked broken things. They didn't lie. They didn't ask questions. That day, he found something he should have left behind. He didn't. The junk dealer's tent smelled like burned wires and cheap fuel. A slow fan moved in the corner, doing nothing. "Got anything special?" Jace asked. The dealer, an old insectoid with cracked wings, pointed to a metal box in the back. "1 unit left. It won't talk. It won't clean. It just watches." Jace raised an eyebrow. "Watches?" The dealer pulled the cover off. Inside stood a tall, silver figure, shaped like a woman but not human. Her face was too perfect. Her arms too smooth. One leg was damaged, wires exposed. A black chain was locked around her wrists. Jace took a step closer. She didn't move, but her eyes, glowing soft blue, followed him. Not like a camera, not like a machine, like a person. "She's not for everyone," the dealer said. "Found her in a crashed pod last cycle. Battery half dead. Memory core damaged. Keeps saying one word, then shuts down." "What word?" The dealer looked uneasy. "Zura. Or Zuva. Something royal. I don't know. I want her gone." Jace stared into the bot's eyes. They weren't blank. They were sad. He reached out. Her fingers twitched. Just once. Like a whisper. "I'll take her," he said. Back at his outpost, the wind howled outside. The power flickered. The alien bot lay on his workbench, still silent. Jace cleaned her circuits, repaired her leg, and patched the outer shell with old plating. As he worked, he noticed strange carvings under her skin. Symbols shaped like stars and wings. They weren't part of any model he knew. Her serial number? Burned off. Her nameplate? Missing. But under her neck, hidden deep in the metal, he found a mark. A royal crest. Zytherian. Long thought extinct. His fingers froze. The Zytherian Empire ruled half the galaxy 300 years ago. They were elegant, ruthless, and then vanished. Destroyed in a single night. Some said the last queen escaped. A story. A myth. But the symbol said otherwise. He looked at her face. "Who were you?" No reply. He leaned closer. Then suddenly her eyes opened wide. Jace jumped back. She sat up slowly. Her joints made soft clicking sounds. One hand reached out not to attack but to touch his chest. Then she spoke. One word. Just one. "Veil Zura." The lights flickered. Her body shook, and she fell, lifeless, onto the floor. Jace stared at her. "Veil Zura," he whispered. He typed the word into his console. Result found. Veil Zura, ancient title used for the crowned heir of Zytheria. Known only to the royal bloodline. His stomach turned. "She's not a maid." Something beeped. He turned fast. His base security system was triggered. Motion detected inside. Jace grabbed his plasma cutter and moved quietly through the hallway. The lights were dim. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. Then he saw it. She was standing again. Still. Watching him from the shadows. He stepped forward. "What are you?" She didn't move, but her lips opened slowly. "They're coming," she whispered, and then she collapsed again. The next day, Jace checked her memory logs. Most were scrambled, but one image was clear. Palace burning, ships flying, soldiers kneeling, and a girl running away, her face covered in firelight. It was her. Not a servant, not a machine. A lost queen, hiding in the body of a broken bot. Now he understood. Someone had tried to erase her, trap her mind inside metal, erase the past. But she woke up, and now, they would come looking. That night, Jace sat beside her. She lay silent, her eyes closed. But he didn't feel alone. He spoke softly, like talking to a ghost. "I don't know who you are, but I think you were never meant to be someone's property." The wind outside stopped. For the first time, Virex 9 was quiet. Too quiet. Jace stood, alert. And then he heard it. A sound above the clouds. A ship. Landing. Quiet. Fast. No lights. They were here. But they weren't here for him. They were here for her. The night didn't end. The ship had landed far from Jace's outpost. No lights. No welcome signal. Just silence. Jace watched from his rooftop, holding old binoculars. Dust flew around him, sharp as knives. The ship was black, shaped like a blade, and quiet as death. Military, he whispered. He went back inside. She was still on the floor, unmoving. Her body looked broken, but Jace knew better now. Inside that metal shell, someone was alive. He had read the word again. Velzura, the lost heir, the last royal name. But nothing in his tool manuals could help him understand what she was. Not a maid, not a machine, not even fully awake. He placed her on the workbench and opened her core panel carefully. Inside, it wasn't like any maidbot he had repaired. There were memory crystals, organic wires, and an energy cell still pulsing softly with blue light. "What kind of tech is this?" he muttered. The blue light grew brighter when his fingers touched a broken piece near her chest. Suddenly, a hologram shot out. It showed a field of stars, a burning city, and her, standing tall in royal armor, speaking to thousands. Her eyes glowed like sapphire fire. Jace stepped back. "You were a queen, but why hide in a maid's body?" He kept digging. A small slot on her back opened by itself. A tiny data needle popped out. Jace connected it to his console. The screen filled with encrypted files. Most were unreadable, but one folder had a name, ZCroyal/Core, Protocol 61, Emergency Transfer. He clicked it. A line of text appeared. It found Protect and Isolate. Host system compromised. Crown memory fragment stored in shell. Await full awakening. He leaned back in his chair. So she was placed in this body to hide. It made sense now. The voice from the night before. The memories, the warning. This wasn't just a bot. It was a container, a cage, a last escape. And now, someone had tracked her here. Suddenly, her fingers twitched. Jace looked over. She sat up, slowly. Her eyes blinked twice, then fixed on his. "Where am I?" she asked, her voice low and soft, like wind through broken glass. "You're safe," Jace said quickly. "But not for long." She looked down at herself. Her hands, her damaged arms. "This body isn't mine," she whispered. "I know," he said. Then her eyes narrowed. "Why did you fix me?" Jace hesitated. "Because you looked sad." That made her pause. For the first time, her eyes softened. "Sad?" she asked. "Like you were trapped." She stood on shaky legs. "I don't remember everything. Only fire. Screaming. My name was taken. I was taken." Jace helped her sit. "There's a ship outside," he said. "No ID, no lights. I think they came for you." Her body stiffened. Her voice turned sharp. "You must destroy my core." "What?" "No. If they find me, they will extract the memory. Restart the war." Jace shook his head. "No one's dying today. Not you. Not me." Suddenly, alarms flashed. Red lights blinked across the console. Motion sensors showed 3 shapes moving toward the outpost. "Too late," Jace said. He tossed her a cloak. "Cover the glow. Hide your eyes." He grabbed his plasma cutter and moved to the front door. Outside, the wind screamed louder. He saw them, 3 figures in black armor, faces hidden. Silent. Fast. Not bounty hunters. Kill units. Jace fired first. The cutter sparked against one of their shields. The unit turned fast and fired a pulse blast. It hit the wall, burning metal. He dodged, rolled, and fired again. But they didn't stop. Then, something strange happened. A soft sound echoed from behind him, like metal breathing. The armored men paused. Jace turned. She was walking forward. Not weak. Not broken. Her cloak fell. Blue light glowed from her arms and chest. The crest on her neck burned bright. The lead soldier dropped to one knee. "Your Majesty," he said in a robotic voice. "Protocol 61 complete." We are your shadows. Jace was stunned. She didn't look surprised. She stepped closer. No, she said. You're not my shadows. You're traitors. She raised her hand, and the lights in the room exploded with energy. The 3 soldiers fell, twitching, sparks flying from their suits. She stood in the center of the storm, glowing with power. And Jace finally saw her. Not a maid, not a broken bot, but a queen reborn. She turned to him. You shouldn't have helped me. He looked at her calmly. Then why did I feel like I had to? She blinked. And for a moment, she smiled. A real human smile. The battle was over. Smoke filled the room. Sparks fell from the roof like burning rain. 3 soldiers in black armor lay motionless on the floor. Jace's hands shook. She stood in front of him, tall, glowing, calm. Her eyes no longer looked confused. They looked awake, alive. Who are you really? Jace asked, still breathing hard. She turned slowly, her voice quiet. I don't know all of it, but I know enough. The glow faded from her body. Her energy dropped. She fell to her knees. Jace rushed forward, catching her before she hit the floor. Her body felt cold now, like a machine again, but her eyes, still full of pain. He placed her back on the repair table and began scanning her systems. The energy surge had damaged part of her memory core. Lights blinked fast across her back. You used too much power, Jace said, plugging in a support line. You're not ready. I had to, she whispered. They would have taken you. You should have saved yourself. She looked at him, softly. No one ever saved me. Not even my own people. That sentence stayed in Jace's mind. It echoed like a quiet scream. Later that night, when she was resting, Jace accessed her memory logs again. He knew it was dangerous. Some files were protected by royal firewalls. But one section, untitled, unstable, opened by mistake. A message blinked. Warning, memory fragment unsealed. Play Y/N. Jace clicked Y. The lights in the room dimmed, and suddenly he saw her life. He was inside a palace. Not standing, floating, as if watching from a ghost's eyes. Guards in golden armor bowed to a young woman, her, dressed in white with glowing blue gems on her shoulders. She smiled as she gave a speech to her people. Her voice was powerful, full of hope. Together, we will bring peace to every star. We are not conquerors. We are guardians of the galaxy. Jace felt something strange in his chest. Pride? He had never met her. But here, in this memory, he felt close to her. Then the sky turned black. Ships filled the clouds. Explosions. Fire. Screams. Her people turned on her. The guards shot others in the back. She ran through the palace, holding a child's data crystal. She screamed, "Help me!" But no one came. Then silence. In the shadows, a small group of scientists stood beside a strange machine. One said, "We can save her mind, not her body." Another said, "She'll be trapped. She won't remember." And then, the machine opened. Her face looked terrified. "Please, don't let me forget who I am." The memory ended. Jace gasped. His hands were shaking. He looked at her, still sleeping, still silent. A queen, betrayed by her own people, thrown into a machine, made to forget her past. Now trapped inside a body never meant for her. It broke him, not because she was powerful, but because she was alone. He sat beside her and whispered, "I'm sorry for everything they did." She woke up later, slowly, her voice weak. "I saw it," she said. Jace was surprised. "Saw what?" "You went into my memory." "I didn't mean to. It just happened." She nodded. "I'm glad you saw it," she whispered. "Why?" "Because now someone else remembers. I'm not alone anymore." Jace didn't know what to say. They sat in silence for a long time. Finally, she asked, "What is your name?" "Jace," he said. She looked at him gently. "I was called Zura once. Now, I don't know who I am." "Maybe," Jace said. "You get to decide now." The next morning, he gave her a coat to hide the royal mark on her neck. You can't stay here, he said. More will come. Where can we go? She asked. Jace smiled. I know a place. Far from this galaxy. No empires. No soldiers. Just stars and peace. She stood beside him, still weak, but stronger than before. As they left the outpost, she looked back one last time. The place where she was reborn. The place where someone saw her pain and didn't run away. Above them, satellites blinked. Signals moved through space. And deep in a dark command ship, a voice spoke. She is alive. Another voice replied. Then begin the hunt. Jace thought they had time. He was wrong. They were still 2 jumps away from the next system when the alarms went off. Red lights. Silent warning. External breach. Jace jumped out of his seat and ran to the console. His small ship had weak shields, but the scanners still worked. Incoming 3 objects. Fast. No signal ID. No broadcast. Jace's face went pale. Drones. Behind him, she stood quietly. Still dressed in the coat, hood covering her face. They found me, she said, her voice low. How? Jace asked. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the table. I think I'm still transmitting something. Something buried deep. A beacon. Royal Maid. Jace looked at her. Can you shut it off? She closed her eyes. A second later, a soft pulse moved through the ship. The lights flickered. Then silence. It's off now, she said. Too late, Jace replied. Outside, the drones had already locked on. They were fast, small black machines with sharp edges and glowing red eyes. No pilots. No voices. Only one goal. Terminate the target. Jace took the ship into a dive. The space around them turned dark, filled with asteroid shadows. One drone fired, a blue shot barely missed their wing. Another slammed into a rock and exploded. But the third cut through space like a knife. Jace cursed. We can't outrun it. Behind him, she stepped forward. I can stop it, she said. He turned around. You're still weak. She didn't answer. She opened her hand. For a second, nothing happened. Then, light flowed from her palm. Not fire. Not electricity. Something older. Something royal. The drone slammed into the ship's side. Metal tore. Sparks flew. The lights died. Jace fell to the floor. The oxygen system blinked red. Pressure dropping. He heard the drone cutting through the lower hallway. Buzzing. Clicking. Then, silence. He grabbed his tool belt and ran toward the noise. Halfway there, he stopped. She was standing at the end of the hall. Smoke curled around her. The drone lay in pieces at her feet. Her hood had fallen off. Her hair, silver white, floated in the air. Her eyes glowed again. But it wasn't just light. It was memory, pain, and rage. Jace walked toward her slowly. Are you hurt? She didn't answer. She stared at the broken drone. Then she said something in a strange language, not to him, but to herself. Zurl Nathka Volakren. What does that mean? He asked. She looked up. Her face calm, but her voice sharp. They killed my family. Burned my name. I was only 16 when they trapped me in this body. Jace didn't know what to say, so he said nothing. She looked around the hallway. This ship won't hold much longer. I'll fix it, he said. She placed her hand on the wall. A soft hum moved through the ship. The ship listens to me now, she said. For a moment. Just enough to move. They reached the cockpit. Jace set new coordinates. A small, hidden moon in the abandoned sector. No lights. No roads. Just silence. Perfect for hiding. She sat beside him. For the first time, she looked tired. Not like a machine. Like a person. He handed her a warm pack from the storage. She held it close but didn't drink. Do you ever sleep? He asked. She smiled just a little. In dreams only. And my dreams are always on fire. Jace wanted to change the subject. You were going to be queen? Yes, she replied. Why didn't they let you? She looked out the window. Because I said no. Later, while the ship floated quietly in stealth mode, Jace checked the drone parts. They were custom made. No serial numbers. No marks. Only one thing remained inside. A chip with 2 words. Royal Cleanse. He showed her. Her face didn't change. I know what that is, she said. A final command. What kind? They're not here to bring me back, she said. They're here to erase me. Forever. The truth hit him like a rock. She wasn't just in danger. She was the last piece of a secret someone wanted gone. If she survived, the truth about the Zytherian fall would return. And someone somewhere would lose everything. He looked at her again. Not a bot. Not a queen. But a living memory of a buried empire. And they were coming to finish what they started. As the ship drifted toward the dark moon, Jace had only one thought. We need to find answers before they find us. She nodded. I think I know where to look. Where? She pointed ahead. To the ruins. Where they built me. Where they broke me. He looked at her carefully. Are you ready to go back? She closed her eyes. No. Then she opened them again. But I'm going anyway. The stars outside were cold. Empty. Jace sat in the pilot seat, hands tight on the controls. Behind him, the engines hummed low. No signal. No lights. The ship moved like a ghost, silent through dead space. The part of the galaxy no one dared to enter. It had no laws. No maps. No sound. Only forgotten things drifted here. And now so did they. She stood behind him, staring out the window. Zura. That name felt real now. Strong. Not just a title. Her face was calm, but Jace knew better. She hadn't spoken since they left the asteroid belt. Something in her had changed after the drone attack. She was remembering, and remembering hurt. Are you okay? He asked. She didn't answer for a while. Then softly, she said, I dreamed of my home last night. The garden. The golden birds. My sister laughing. She looked down. But I think I made it up. I don't know if it ever existed. Or if it was just a program inside my head. Jace stood up, walked closer. Maybe it was real. Maybe it wasn't. But it matters because you felt it. She turned toward him, her voice trembling. What if I was never real? What if I'm just someone's memory of a queen? He gently took her hand. You bled. You fought. You saved me. He looked into her glowing eyes. You're real enough for me. The ship shook suddenly. Red lights blinked. Not enemy fire. Something worse. The ship's power core was failing. Jace ran to the engine bay. The power cell was cracked. Overused. Overheated. He cursed under his breath. We pushed it too hard. She joined him. I can recharge it, she said. Jace turned. You'll burn yourself out. I'm a fusion core now, she said. Part machine. Part energy. This is what they made me to do. No. You don't have a choice, she replied. And before he could stop her, she placed her hand on the core. Blue light exploded from her fingers. The metal screamed. The wires sparked alive. Jace pulled her back before the glow consumed her completely. She collapsed in his arms. Her voice was weak. We have 10 minutes of speed. Use it. Jace stared at her face. Pale, but peaceful. Then he stood up and flew. Through shattered asteroid fields. Past dead ships floating for centuries. They ran. Through dead space together. Not as master and machine, but as two souls broken by the galaxy, still running from its fire. He saw it first, the place she had spoken of. An old moon half destroyed. No air. No cities. Just the remains of a giant building carved into the rock. The Zytherian vault. She opened her eyes. I remember this place, she whispered. This is where they erased me. The ship landed rough, sparks flying from the wings. No fuel left. Jace helped her stand. They stepped into the ruins. Inside, the walls were smooth black stone. Symbols glowed faintly. She touched one, and the lights flickered on. Holograms lit the halls. Memories of kings, war, victory, betrayal. In one glowing image, a young girl knelt before soldiers. It was her. Younger. Afraid. Do it, the old general said. Put her in the shell. The bloodline must end. Jace stared in horror. They didn't just hide you, he said. They punished you. She nodded. They called me weak. I refused the war. I said no to the Empire's next attack. That was my crime. Another memory lit up. Her mother, crying. Her father, silent. The throne, empty. Then blackness. A machine hum. And silence. She sat on the floor, her fingers brushing the stone. I died here, she whispered. Not my body, but my name. Jace sat beside her. No, he said. You're not dead. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small metal coin. The only thing he ever kept from his family. My father gave me this before he left, he said. I kept it even when everything else was lost. He placed it in her hand. Now you keep something. She looked at it for a long time, then closed her hand around it. I will. But peace didn't last long. A sharp sound echoed through the ruins. Boots, metal, soldiers, not drones, real people. Zura stood up fast. They're here. Jace grabbed his cutter. Then we make a stand. She looked down the dark hall, face calm. No, she said. I make a choice. As the shadows grew closer, Zura walked forward, her cloak falling behind her. She didn't hide anymore. No fear, no lies. The last queen had returned, and she would not kneel again. The ancient hall was no longer quiet. Footsteps echoed in the dark. Heavy, slow, exact. Soldiers entered the ruins, dressed in dark silver armor, their faces hidden behind black masks. Each one moved like part of a machine. No words, no emotion. At their center walked a tall figure, wrapped in a long red cloak. His face was old, but sharp like a blade. His voice was calm, cold, and full of command. Zura, he said, you've come home. She stood at the center of the hall, her back straight, her hands open. The glowing crown symbol on her chest pulsed softly. I didn't come for the crown, she said. I came for the truth. Jace stood beside her, tense. His hand rested on his cutter, but he knew it wouldn't help much. These weren't just soldiers. They were royal executors trained to destroy threats to the Empire's secrets. Even secrets shaped like queens. The man stepped forward. I am Lord Vayne, your father's final general. Zura's eyes narrowed. You were the one who gave the command. You ordered them to erase me. I followed orders, Vayne said. You were young. You were soft. You refused the purge. I chose peace, she replied. He nodded. And for that, we locked your memories, to protect the Empire. Zura's voice shook. You didn't protect it. You killed it. Suddenly, the ruins came alive. A deep hum moved through the stone. Blue light rose from the ground, floating into the air like fireflies. Zura took a step forward. The crown symbol on her chest began to glow, not bright, but deep, like a buried sun waking up. Jace looked around. Symbols on the walls began to spin slowly. What's happening? He asked. Zura looked at him. I've reached the core, she said. This place was not just for exile. It was the throne's backup. If the Empire ever truly fell, it would rebuild itself here. She touched the wall. A door opened behind her, revealing a small room filled with golden light. Inside floated a crown. Not metal, not heavy, but pure light, shaped like a halo. Pulsed when it saw her. Alive. Lord Vayne stepped back. She has awakened the crown AI, he said. We're too late. Jace turned toward Zura. You don't have to go in there. She stared at the light. It's calling me, she whispered. It knows my blood, my voice. It's a trap, Jace said. You're more than this. You're not just a queen. You're you. Zura walked slowly into the room. The light touched her skin. Her body floated slightly. Her eyes turned gold. Zura of Zytheria, the crown AI spoke. Do you accept the Empire's command? Do you reclaim the throne? She hesitated. Her hands shook. She saw visions in the light. Planets bowing to her, warships in her name, a galaxy ruled by order and fear. She looked back at Jace. He wasn't floating. He wasn't glowing. But he was real, solid, kind, and silent, waiting for her choice. Zura stepped down. Her feet touched the ground. The crown dimmed. Rejection confirmed, the AI said. Crown sleep resumed. Lord Vane gasped. You refuse power? Zura faced him. I refuse your version of power. You will die without the crown. She raised her hand. I would rather live one honest life than rule a galaxy built on lies. Vane ordered the soldiers forward, but Zura's eyes lit up. With her voice alone, she stopped them mid-step. They froze, their systems overridden by her forgotten codes. She spoke in the old tongue. The queen is not dead. She has returned, but not for a throne. The soldiers turned and knelt. Even the air seemed to bow. Zura's voice was no longer broken, no longer soft. It was whole. Jace watched in silence. He had seen machines kneel before her. Now he watched a queen walk away from her own crown. She turned to him, smiling. I am free now, she said. He smiled back. So what now? We run, she said. But not in fear. Then why? She looked at the stars. For life. For peace. For me. As the ancient hall faded behind them, Jace stayed close to her side. The crown had chosen her. But she had chosen herself. And he had chosen to stay. Not as a protector. Not as a savior. But as the only one who saw the broken machine and loved the soul inside. The ship moved quietly through deep space. Jace sat by the window, watching the stars slide past like silver ghosts. He had seen many places. Scrapyards, battlefields, empty moons. But nothing felt as strange as this moment. Peace. Real peace. Beside him, Zura stood in silence. Her eyes no longer glowed all the time. Her voice no longer shook. She was not just a queen or a machine. She was Zura, a person, and she had made her choice. After leaving the ruins, news of her survival began to spread. At first, only whispers. The Zytherian heir still lives. She refused the throne. She walks among the stars. But whispers became fire. Other survivors from the fallen empire came out of hiding. Rebel systems sent messages. Broken droids with old codes reached out to her. Everyone wanted something. Some wanted her to rise. Others wanted her dead. She gave them only silence. Now, a council had formed on the planet Nyros 5 asking to meet her, to decide her fate, to ask her why she refused the crown. Zura agreed to go, not to kneel, not to rule, but to speak. One last time, they landed in a giant hall made of dark glass and steel. Thousands filled the balconies. Humans, aliens, hybrids, old machines, all watching. Jace stayed by the door, hidden in the crowd. He didn't like politics, but he stayed, because she asked him to. Zura walked to the center of the hall. Alone. No guards. No armor. Just herself. The council head, a tall woman with silver eyes, spoke loud. You carry the blood of Zytheria, she said. You carry the key to the old empire. Zura nodded. Yes. You turned away from the throne. Yes. Zura said again. Then what do you bring us now? Zura looked at the crowd, at the faces, at the fear, the hope, the hunger for someone to lead them. And she said one word. Truth. The hall went still. Zura's voice rose. You want power? I had it. I was born with it. I was trained to lead, to command fleets, to crush enemies. She took a breath. But when I asked for peace, my own people erased me. They buried me in a machine and called it mercy. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Zura continued. I am not here to rebuild what was. That empire was beautiful, yes, but it was cruel. It wanted control more than justice. Silence more than truth. She pointed to her chest. The crown chose me. But I choose freedom. Someone shouted. Then what are you? She smiled. I am a daughter of stars. A girl who was forgotten. A voice that refused to disappear. Another voice called out. And him? The man at the door. Zura turned slowly. Jace stiffened. Now the whole galaxy was watching. She walked back to him. Every step quiet. Heavy. Sure. When she reached him, she knelt. Knelt. Not to bow, but to speak from the heart. In front of them all, she looked up at Jace. You found me broken, not knowing who I was. not knowing if I was real. And you stayed. He said nothing. His eyes were glassy. Zura kept speaking. You didn't ask for a queen. You didn't need a symbol. You saw me as a person. She stood and turned to the crowd. I don't need a crown to matter. And you don't need one either. Build a better galaxy. Not with fear, but with memory. The room fell silent again. Then, one by one, they began to stand. Not in protest. In respect. Later, when they returned to the ship, Jace leaned against the wall. So what now? He asked. Zura smiled, tired but free. We keep moving, she said. The galaxy doesn't need rulers anymore. It needs stories. He raised an eyebrow. Stories? Yes, she said. Stories of broken people who kept going. Like us. Jace chuckled. You sure you're not a poet? She smiled wider. Maybe I was. They flew on. No flags. No army. No thrones. Only two souls in a stolen ship, drifting through quiet stars, leaving behind a legend the galaxy would never forget. The queen who knelt, and the man who never asked her to.